Hello, ladies and gentlemen, Gianluca Massi speaking on the behalf of the Virtual Telescope Project, and it's such a pleasure for me to be here hosting this live feed, just covering two very interesting asteroids, the potentially hazardous asteroid 2024 ON and the near-Earth asteroid 2024 HER-Q. So we are ready to go. I'm just checking a few more things before I officially start this live feed. I will say that everything is up and running. So I want to thank you for joining this event. And before we start, I want to thank the technological partners of the Virtual Telescope Project. They are Software Bisque, C-Web, and Telescope Live. So everything is up and running. Okay. So here we are, my friends, ready to go. Again, welcome on board. Gianluca Masi speaking on the behalf of the Virtual Telescope Project. My best wishes and greetings from Rome, Italy. And I am already connected with the robotic telescopes part of the Virtual Telescope facility in Tuscany under very good skies, even if tonight with an almost full moon, it is basically it doesn't matter how dark the sky is with such a full moon. So I want to start sharing images right away. I opened the feed a bit earlier, as you can see, because I'm not sure if the weather will stay clear for such a long time. So let me start sharing the feedback from the telescope. Here it is. And as you can see, the telescope is already pointing 2024 ON, the potentially hazardous asteroid, which was originally scheduled to be shared via this live feed before I added the other one. I asked the telescope to start collecting images. Let me see if I can also share with you the telescope doing this job. I would like to try if I can. Perhaps I will be able to share with you the telescope. Okay, where it is. Here it is, my friend. It is the telescope we are using right now. Happy to see people on the chat as well. Let me say this object will never hit the Earth. I mean, it is safely approaching, and I will tell you a bit more. This is the telescope we are using. But I see that we already have the first image. So let me remove. Here we are, friends. This is the first image we collected from this asteroid. So, just to put things in the right order, we are observing the potentially hazardous asteroid 2024 ON going to have in about 36 hours by now a safe close approach with our planet, coming as close as 1 million kilometers from us. It is more or less 2.6 times the average lunar distance. So really not a risk for us. It is just a spectacular opportunity to track an object moving so fast across the stars, as we can see here, by the way. You see the asteroid like a sharp dot of light because our system is tracking the asteroid. So the stars are leaving trails, okay? The minimum distance will be in, as I said, 36 hours by now, the minimum distance from the Earth, and we decided to share it live now because this object is moving in the southern sky, and it is going to be not visible from Italy very soon. So this is the last night for us to enjoy it and share it with you. The dot of light you see in the center is the potentially hazardous asteroid 2024 ON. The size of this object is somewhere between 210 460 meters. So it qualifies as a potentially hazardous asteroid. I want to remind you that potentially hazardous asteroid is a definition just telling that this object is larger than 140 meters, more or less, and it is moving on an orbit, bringing it closer than 7.5 million kilometers. So every asteroid larger than 140 meters and approaching the Earth orbit within 7.5 million kilometers is flagged as potentially hazardous asteroid. And I underline potentially. It does not mean at all that it is going to hit us, as in this case, because even at the minimum distance, 36 hours by now, this object will be 2.6 more distant than the Moon. I hope that this is making clear what is happening, and mainly, it will make clear that nothing is going to happen to us. This object, Federico, is moving pretty fast in the southern hemisphere, so in a matter of hours it will be only visible from there. This is why we are hosting this right now. As I say, this object is very interesting because it is coming close, still at safe distance, 1 million kilometers, but its size between 200 and 450 meters is remarkable, to the point that a similar close approach is happening on average one time every 10 years. As you can see, we are taking images back to back, and every new image is showing the star trailing, just sliding to the upper right, because the telescope, as I said, is tracking at the very specific apparent motion of this object. The minimum distance, as I said, will be reached in 36 hours by now, and I'm trying to find the current distance of this object, so just give me a handful of seconds so that I can do this calculation right away. Okay. Here we are, 125. Right now, this object is at about 1.5 million kilometers. Okay, even you can see here, even an artificial satellite crossed the field of view. We are taking images back to back. If you look at this screen, you will perhaps understand what is happening. This is exactly the console, the control console of the telescope. I am logged here and I'm sharing with you the console itself. I'm taking images back to back. Every image is collecting light for 60 seconds, 1 minute, and in 1 minute the asteroid is moving across the sky. But we are tracking it, so as a result, the asteroid is a sharp dot of light, while stars at the background are leaving trails. So right now, this rock, the potentially hazardous asteroid 2024 ON, is 1.5 million kilometers far away. Right now, the object is in Sagittarius. I will try to share this as well with you. Here it is, here we are. Let me remove a few things. Okay, you can see a close-up of the region of the sky where this potentially asteroid is right now. the Sagittarius constellation. The object here is where you see the red yellow circle. You can recognize the name 2024 ON. So nice, so beautiful. Let me see. Checking for the next object. How beautiful is for us tracking this kind of object, sharing this with the world. This object is not visible by naked eye. You really need a telescope to image it. And as I say, the size is between 200 and 4,500 meters, so it is much smaller than the asteroid involved in the dinosaur cataclysmic hand, I would say. It is also pretty low above the horizon, less than 20 degrees. It is, as I said, in Sagittarius constellation, which is a typical southern constellation. So nice. And in a few minutes I will switch to the other object, coming significantly closer, but still safely, also being smaller. The Earth is not on the image because we are on the Earth and we are looking up from the Earth. The Earth is under our feet, I would say, or if you prefer, under the feet of the telescope, of course. So nice. The speed of this object relative to the Earth is around 8 kilometers per second. The object I will be observing later is 10 times smaller, by the way. So, this is the last image we collected for the potentially hazardous asteroid 2024 ON, quickly moving in the southern hemisphere. Now I will ask the telescope to slew and point 2024 RQ in a very different region of the sky. Let me see if I can share with you the telescope movement. So that you can have perhaps a better experience. Going to ask to slew the telescope. Here it is, my friends. The telescope is moving. And you can even see that the yellow crosshair is traveling pretty fast across the star chart, that is where the telescope is pointing second after second. And this is reflecting in the motion of the telescope. You can see on the telecamera, on the camera as well. So here we are. So we changed the position. The telescope is pointing where you see the yellow crosshair. Now, for your convenience, I just clicked where the asteroid 2024 ON, the one we were observing earlier, is in Sagittarius. Now we are in Aquarius constellation, and you can see that in Capricornus we have the almost full moon, my friends. Okay. I will try to adjust to refine the pointing, of course. Let's see if we will recognize the asteroid by its motion. Before we adjust the pointing to the object, I am using a less than usual accurate procedure, but it is faster. I see the object here. Yes, it is. Let's see where the object is. Okay, it should be in the very center here. You can see the object. Again, like a sharp dot of light. This is the new object, 2024 RQ. Now we'll try to take a 1 minute long exposure, and I will tell a bit more about this object. So we left the potentially hazardous asteroid 2024 ON, and now we are tracking the near-Earth asteroid 2024 RQ. This object, while coming closer in about 12 hours, it will be at the lunar distance basically. This object is much smaller than the previous one. This is why it is not flagged as a potentially hazardous asteroid. To be called, to be considered a potentially hazardous asteroid, you have to be larger than 140 meters more or less, and able to come as close as 7.5 millions of kilometers or closer to the Earth orbit. While this object, the one we are tracking now, is coming much closer than that, at a lunar distance in 12 hours, it is too small, between 24 and 53 meters. Here it is, plenty of interference from the full moon, which is sitting not far from the position where the asteroid is in this very moment. Our telescope has the important capability to track every object out there. We imaged the Polaris Dawn spacecraft, the Crew Dragon spacecraft, part of the Polaris Dawn image mission, a couple of days ago. We imaged the Sentinel-2C launched by ESA about 10 days ago, and those are by far much more demanding targets than this kind of asteroid, okay? Even if this is not easy to track, and in fact there are very few telescopes in the world able to provide you this kind of experience, that is the fast asteroid perfectly tracked with the stars leaving those long trails. The longer the trail, the faster the apparent speed of the asteroid, of course, at a given time. Just checking the distance of this small rock, 40 meters more or less in size, larger than the Chelyabinsk meteor, just to give you a famous reference. Let me check, let me calculate how far this rock is right now. 0.004 astronomical units. That is, it is about 600,000 kilometers. 1.6 lunar distances at this very moment, and it is approaching us. The minimum distance from this object will be in about 12 hours by now, tomorrow at 10 universal time. I see September the 16th at 10 universal time, or to be more accurate, 10:37 universal time. So it is about 15 hours by now, but it is a safe approach. Keep in mind always. Keep in mind that we are observing a 40 meters large rock at about, as I said, 1.6 times the average lunar distance, and it is quite obvious that you see it as a dot of light. It is the state of the art we have with this kind of objects. So what is mind-blowing here is the capability we have to track these kind of things, which is not obvious, as I said. From time to time, beside the asteroid, you see some artifacts. They are cosmic rays, for example, hitting the imaging detector. I understand, Benstone, what you say, because very often if you just read the news, you have the impression that something catastrophic is happening basically daily. But trust me, astronomers and astrophysicists like me are out there to tell you what is happening. And in this case, while this small object is coming tomorrow as close as the moon, it still is a huge distance, and really it is not a reason of concern at all. As for the shape, Benstone, we don't know right now, and but you could understand, you could investigate if you study how the luminosity of this object evolves over the time. You can see, for example, the object changing the brightness a lot while it is rotating, so it will mean a very elongated shape, for example. Okay, so there are a few techniques to investigate and understand the shape. But I don't think that we had a chance, the time to do this with this object. But perhaps someone did so. But the telescope is in Italy. It's in Tuscany, in Maremma. We are beautifully tracking here. The Virtual Telescope project has been the first facility in the world bringing to the people out there the opportunity to follow this kind of extreme close approaches in real time, developing the technology, and as you see, for free. By the way, you can contribute supporting us, because while we are offering this for free and we'll never ask for money, there are bills to be paid, as you can easily understand, because a telescope, a robotic telescope working flawlessly this way, able to track basically everything popping out there in the sky, is not cheap, and maintenance is a very, very important task, and you can contribute if you want, supporting us. Just visit www.virtualtelescope.eu/donate, and from there you can support us. I want to thank again the technological partners of the Virtual Telescope project. They are Software Bisque, C-Web, and Telescope Live. Gaia, this object will be at the minimum distance tomorrow morning, around just before, I would say between noon and 1 p.m. Italian time, about 15 hours by now. So, Premdas, I understand what you mean, and right now, you know, zoology, biology are so strongly connected with the astronomical world, because we are, of course, very intrigued by the real possibility that there is life out there somewhere. You can see the strange background luminosity. It's due, the gradient is of course a very strong lunar contamination, because if you look here, look on the map, the asteroid is in the red-yellow crosshair, but you have also the moon. Look here, the red crosshair is the moon and the yellow one is the asteroid. They are sharing the same spot of the sky, and you can imagine how much light the moon is spreading in that region of the sky where we have the asteroid. This asteroid Gaia is expected to come at the minimum distance tomorrow, September the 16th at, as I said, 37 minutes after noon, 37 minutes past noon. It's amazing that we can see a relatively faint object angularly so close to the bright moon, because having such a bright background is not desirable, I will say. Look at this interesting combination, the asteroid with the star running on the background. A new image is coming after a bit more than 1 minute, because every image is at 60 second exposure. This is not dangerous at all. Absolutely. It is just fun, my friends. Just fun, as I said. La minima distanza Gaia di questo asteroide dalla Terra sarà domani a 12:37 e comunque sarà più della distanza lunare, quindi un passaggio di tutta sicurezza. Asteroids are, the pristine material left around the sun after the solar system formation, and it's mainly, located between Mars and Jupiter for several dynamical reasons, even if from time to time asteroids are removed from the main belt, as we call that region where they naturally are. And there are several mechanisms making possible for an asteroid to be moved away from the main belt and perhaps put on orbits, bringing them in the inner solar system where the Earth is orbiting. And Jupiter is responsible for an interesting amount of those objects. So we succeeded observing both these objects, the potential Hazardous Asteroid 2024 ON, earlier in the slide feed, having the minimum distance, the close approach with the Earth on September 17. But now we are observing 2024 RQ, having the minimum, reaching the minimum distance from us, 1.3 times the average lunar distance, in about 15 hours by now. So friends, that said, I want to thank you for joining this live feed, and I want to remind you that we have another spectacular live feed scheduled already. We are going to cover the supermoon happening in a couple of days now. Just check virtualtelescope.eu to learn about the details of this event. We will share with you live images of the supermoon, the upcoming supermoon, and also of the partial lunar eclipse happening between 17 and 18 of September. No, nothing to be worried about. Over the last few years, we have seen apparently an increasing number of close approaching asteroids, but it is not because they decided to start visiting us so often. This is just because we are very good now in looking at them. The technology is helping us to find objects which were missed earlier. That's the question, and that is the answer. So friends, I hope you had a good time with us. I strongly suggest you to subscribe the Virtual Telescope Project Facebook page to be up to date every time we host something of interest. There are very great things coming the supermoon and the partial lunar eclipse in a couple of days. www.virtualtelescope.eu to learn where and how to join. It's free every time. And then in a month or more or less we will have a potentially very spectacular comet, and that is something you will not want to miss, my friends. That's it. Thank you very much. It was a pleasure to host this live feed on the Virtual Telescope project platform. Giorgio Camasi from Rome is sending his best wishes and greetings to everyone. I see many friends from Italy, Pakistan, India, USA, from all around the planet. The magic of the Virtual Telescope project and the magic of astronomy, making possible for people from different countries to gather in this virtual place and have fun together, looking up and enjoying the beauty of the cosmos. So, my friends, take care and keep tracking what is happening out there, and keep an eye on the Virtual Telescope project website, virtualtelescope.eu, to learn what our project can do for you, and even consider supporting us by donating at virtualtelescope.eu to keep this project up and running. That's all. Thank you very much for being part of this effort. So take care, and again, keep looking at the beauty of the cosmos.